What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Second video of the day. I just came back from LA. Everything went out great. Okay, so yesterday, there were a couple of posts that I really liked. An exchange between Christopher Mellon and Dr. Pippa Malmgren. And this stems from an article that came out on the Daily Mail that had a lot of really interesting pictures of Pippa and Dr. Harald Malmgren, who recently passed away. Chris Mellon echoed this article, and he wrote a number of things that I really liked. But what I liked the most was Pippa Malmgren's response, which was really heartwarming, and I think that we should read them. Let's take a look, yeah? So, here's Christopher Mellon sharing that article and saying, I had the opportunity to briefly correspond with Dr. Harald Malmgren, and we had planned to meet. Sadly, this great American's illness prevented that from happening. In an email exchange seeking to coordinate our meeting, he said, and I quote, when I casually made observations on Twitter on my early DoD work exposure to UAP happenings, I had no idea I was stumbling into a myriad of hot controversies. I gently backed away from being portrayed as confirming the existence of UAPs and work being done with the reengineering of objects left by them. I am not someone in need of the series of high public visibility on any subject, always preferring quiet interaction with real decision makers. And then, unquote. And Christopher Mellon says, the mention of tagalongs in this article naturally brings to mind the famous case of Lieutenant Bob Jacobs and Major Florence Mansman, who described a nearly identical event involving official footage of a UAP circling a nuclear warhead during a 1967 weapons test. As I've said for many years now, there are multiple reasons, including but beyond the sworn testimony of former intelligence official David Grush, to take allegations of recovered off-world technology seriously. For example, I previously shared a segment of correspondence I received on signal from a government official confirming the recovery of off-world materials. There are additional sources as well that lend credibility to these claims. Since the universe is infinite and unimaginably ancient, it is short-sighted to project our current technological and scientific limitations onto civilizations that may be billions of years older and vastly more advanced. As I've argued elsewhere, such as in my June 3rd, 2023 Politico article, humanity would benefit from knowing the truth. But I also recognize that the initial fear and paranoia of such a revelation might prove costly and destabilizing. Before proceeding further with the investigation of these allegations, perhaps it is time for Congress or the administration to sponsor an in depth study of the social, economic, and national security consequences that could result from contact with alien civilizations. This is, after all, something that could happen at any time, even if it hasn't already. And then the response that I liked the most was this one from Dr. Pippa Malmgren. And she said, thank you for posting this, Chris. He was being judicious in his revelations, although he felt a sense of urgency as more and more senior public officials started going on record and confirming that we know much more about the subject than is widely understood. With the release of the film The Age of Disclosure, he saw the tide turning and did his best to explain what he knew from having served as an advisor to President JFK and Secretary of Defense McNamara. It turned out that he was a rare thing, a first-hand witness who served 4 presidents and had all the Q clearances, who was also an experiencer and willing to go on the record. I remember the day I said to him, Dad, you are going to think I've lost my marbles, but I've learned that there is something going on with UFO UAP issue. It was like a key in a lock. He opened up. As we shared that we each knew, he realized he had a duty to humanity to share his insights, which he did. To be clear, this is no longer about whether people believe or do not believe. The issue is that the combination of supercomputing, AI, and ever more precise data gathering services are together allowing humanity to breach the boundaries of the known universe. As we punch deeper into space, into the subatomic structure of matter, into the forces of nature, and paint, quote unquote, with atoms and DNA, and discover new fundamental forces, we are bumping into and scientifically documenting more and more anomalous phenomena. Call them what you will. If we are going to explore the boundaries of the known, we can't keep being afraid of what we find. The problem is not the discovery, it's the fear that these discoveries reveal. We have not understood our reality. Exploration is the solution, not the problem. This is wild. When I read this, I retweeted that I felt that this is where like the heart of the story of all this lies right now, because um, Dr. Pippa Malmgren is correct. Perhaps I think that given his position of power, the responsibility he had at the moment, and the access he had to the main players, Dr. Harold Malmgren's testimony is one of the most important, if not the most important, of this whole topic. Um, Maybe I don't know of other people that are more important than what he did, but I think that his position and his story should be held in high regard and should be paid attention to. And obviously, what Dr. Pippa Malmgren is doing is just continuing her father's work and upholding that responsibility that he has and that duty. And I think that she's doing that too. So I do find it really encouraging that there are still people like that in the world that are willing to make an effort for people, despite how disastrous the world has become, how divisive. So when I realized that this was one of the main stories, this is one of the stories that I'm going to be covering the most. And now I can't wait for that Jesse Michaels interview. That is de facto a deathbed confession. If this is the last interview that Dr. Harold Malmgren offered, this is a deathbed confession. And based on what we heard from Dr. Pippa Malmgren, she hinted that her father knows a lot more stuff and that he is a first hand witness, and he is. But who knows what else he's going to give us. That article, I'm going to leave it in the description. It's in the Daily Mail. They initially wrote it as an exclusive, but it was not an exclusive. It was new information for a lot of people. That was. But Jeff Cruikshank shared a video of a secondhand witness of the Blue Gill triple prime test. And that's really, really important to this whole story. Because if it did happen, and if John F. Kennedy did go to Los Alamos to get briefed on that, that means he knew that an object fell after that test happened in 1962. So who knows what else we're going to uncover? Who knows what Dr. Harold Malmgren knows? I can't wait. Jesse, if you need any help with the editing or anything, let me know. I want to see that. We all do. I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody. So yeah, that's for me one of the main stories that could bring us some level of truth. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this exchange between Chris Mellon and Dr. Pippa Malmgren? What do you think about Dr. Harold Malmgren's role in all of this? Let me know in the comments. Do you think his story is as important as I think so? Let me know. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to hit like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you can. You can also become a member. We're on KGRA, and I'm going to leave links in the description so you can help us out so the channel can keep growing. Thank you so much for your support. And until the next video, I'll see you later, guys. Remember to stay curious. Remember to stay inquisitive. Ta.